Okay, so I'd like to get a round of applause for the actors and actresses that couldn't be here because either A, they're out of state, or B, they are just too far away. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand. So let's get a round of applause for Jad Ellis, Kristen Terry, Mahela Atkinson, Alexandra Conroy. Also, this means a lot to me. I also want a huge round of applause for the musical score because I've never met the guy in person, but man, he makes some incredible music. Let's give a round of applause for Alex. Okay, to my immediate left is Cassandra Enzler. She played Mary in the film. And then right here we've got Anthony Martino. He played Jared. And then to my far left, Krystle, the cinematographer, editor. Let's give a round of applause for them. Now, this is my first Q&A. So, if anybody has questions about the movie or the process of making the movie or where the movie's going from here, so on and so forth, the floor is y'all's.
I'm actually more curious on how long did it take them to make themselves cry?
How long did it take to make themselves cry?
How many takes did that take?
So I can answer for Kristen.
She cried in every take.
She cried in every take. How about you, Casey?
It took like 10 minutes, I think, to like put yourself in that headspace.
I think I missed that when we were shooting. Was Kristen like coaching you at all, or were you just thinking about sad things, or how does that work?
Usually you try and like I guess like pull on like a past memory, or I don't know. Eventually, when you work up to it, like I think Jessica Chastain can just like cry on demand. It's just like her party trick. So eventually, I think you just get to a point where you can just like cry on demand. Yeah.
Question, Carol?
Where is this going from here?
So I was dabbling with the idea of doing self-distribution for the longest time, but after seeing the cut a few days ago, seeing how far of progress it's made and coming together, I've decided that I'm going to start pushing it into film festivals as soon as possible. Next question.
How long did it take everything all together from writing to final product?
So writing, I'm very particular on writing. I only like to sit down and write whenever I'm in the groove, which unfortunately only happens like once every 6 months. I don't know why I'm like this. I wish it were different. So writing Tethered, I started with a rough draft that took about a year to write. It came to about 20 pages. And I realized the ending was rather abrupt and the characters weren't fleshed out enough, and I said, you know, this is not going to work. I know my goal was to have a 20-page script, but I really want to flesh these characters out as much as I can and give them more depth. So probably another 6 months to a year doing rewrites and revisions to get the script where I wanted it to be. So probably about a year and a half, 2 years for the writing process. And then I don't know what happened. I woke up on January 1st this year with a fire up my ass about making a movie because I hadn't done one in a couple years. And I know my dad would be pissed off at me if he saw that I was fucking off and not making movies. So I had spoken with Krystle probably a couple times while I was writing Tethered, and I hadn't really pushed the process. So like I said, fire under the ass, and I reached out to Krystle. Hey, I like your stuff. Let's meet up and let's talk. And Krystle and I met for lunch with my wife Katie, and it was a very good lunch at Fuddruckers, and it was a very good conversation about where to take Tethered from here, from being written and everything. So, I think it was only like a month after that, something about a month, right? That we had casted it and started principal photography. And principal photography took place over 2 weekends during during February of this year. 5 shooting days, yeah. And then editing, unfortunately, it was a timely process because unfortunately we don't get to do this for a living, so working between the jobs that actually pay money as opposed to the jobs that take away money, it took some time, so I guess it's taken about 2 years. It's the typical turnout for a Hollywood movie.
The filming was the fastest part.
It
So
really
it
was.
was a few weekends, and then it sat on my shelf for a long time because I got really busy with my day job. But the actual editing itself, like if I just sat and did it and I didn't have another job, probably would have taken me about a month to do this.
And I've sat in front of editors, and in my opinion, it's the most tedious part of the process, so I'm sorry you had to go through this. But,
My pleasure.
so I can only imagine editing a 30-minute picture together. The longest film I think that I've edited together before now, or the longest film I ever edited together, I should say, was probably like 11 minutes in length, and it took a long time. And it wasn't even doing it to the correct standards, yeah. Next. Nick.
Oh yeah, I have a two-parter actually.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm just curious about the movie magic that went into it, but like, what did you guys use for fake Coke?
Fake Coke.
Oh.
We used powdered sugar. And I promise, Anthony, if you ever work with me again, I won't make you snort it.
He's had me do this before, but it wasn't powdered sugar. It was like vitamins. What was it? The first?
It was powdered sugar. It's always been
Are you
powdered sugar.
serious?
What was like crushed up?
We did another film together where I had to snort fake Coke, and I don't remember it being as pleasant as this fake Coke.
That one was off-brand.
Yeah.
You had like a choking fit.
Yeah, because like the first take that we did, I really, really, really inhaled it hard, and like I was coughing and wheezing for a good second.
I felt so bad for like 10 minutes. I was like,
And then he got over it.
But I was like, don't do it for real. Stop doing it for real.
I'm like, well, it's a close-up. You're gonna have to run apart.
okay, so
Also, the second part to that question was this your acting debut, Cody?
my acting debut, in a professional setting, yes.
How did it feel?
It was hard to imagine myself working with the talents of Anthony because I'm no actor, but I wanted to sneak myself a cameo in there, and I thought, well, I'll play the Coke dealer because I mean, usually I was on the other side of that margin for a while, so I thought maybe, all the people that I met over the years when I dabbled in that, I was like, maybe if I pull their personalities together, I can make it seem like I know how to act.
You did great.
Thank you. KK.
Did you have a clear idea of who you wanted to play for each role, or was it a process for other people?
That's an excellent question. So originally I wanted to play Jared, but then I remembered I can't act. So let's see. Anthony was going to school in Austin, and he was visiting one time, and I guess it was right circumstance and timing. Anthony came over to hang out with me because, I mean, I love hanging out with Anthony. He reminds me so much of a good friend I grew up with, and so it's like kind of that friend's gone, but he's there, so you know what I mean. But Anthony came over one day, and it was while I was writing Tethered, and I just gave him a page from the script and like a cold read, and I said, hey, read this and perform it. And I don't even know why I told him to do that, because working with Anthony, before Anthony I had met on Introverted Mind, which was an aspiring project of mine many years back. And I don't know why I even had a second thought. I knew Anthony could do it as soon as he walked in the door. Because, I mean, hell, Jared is almost the same as Troy, just 10 years older. Because for some reason I have my main characters do cocaine, so sorry. Next time I'll make a main character for you that's wholesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's one.
And then I did see Kristen playing the role of Cora. I knew she was going to be in that role, and I actually had somebody lined up to play Mary. Unfortunately, she had to back out probably 3 weeks or so before principal photography. And Casey had actually auditioned for the role of Lori, which went to Mihaela, but I remembered Casey. I remembered kind of her mannerisms from her audition. I was like, you know, she'd probably make a good Mary. So I reached back out to her and I said, hey, would you mind reading the sides for Mary? And she sent it back to me and I was like, you're Mary. No problem.
And you knew Kristen from Interrooted Mind too.
Correct.
Yeah. So you already had her in mind when you were doing
Yeah.
it from the other film that we did.
Yes, exactly. I knew Kristen would be good for that part, so I kind of wrote kind of to what I've seen Kristen do over the years.
I will say that Casey in real life is nothing like Mary, and it was jarring to me. I'm like, you're so sweet, but when you're acting, I hate you. You're so good at being like someone I don't like.
You're good at flipping it, Casey.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Next question.
Yeah.
Eugene.
How did you come up with the name of Tethered? How did that interrelate with the whole?
So I have this really OCD kind of personality that I'm pretty sure I inherited from my father, and if there's people in here that knew my dad, they know that he was OCD as fuck about certain things. So when I started the script, the original title was Connecting ... and I was like, that'll just be a working title. Then it morphed into Connecting To, and then it changed into Tethering Depth, which is a mouthful. I don't know why I came up with all this crap in the first place. So I was like, let me find a word that says what I'm trying to say with this whole screenplay. And I settled on Tethered, and then if y'all caught it, I did a title drop in there. I'm sorry, I had to.
Tethered now.
We're tethered now. Next question.
How hard was it to be slapped in the face? How did you prep yourself for that?
I didn't remember that, and when we saw it, when I watched it, I was like, is that real, or is that like
No.
is that like trickery? Because I
It's
do not remember it.
Because, so I did have a wide shot of Mahalan Anthony, but she was like afraid to really hit him.
Okay.
And so she did really hit him a couple times, but not hard at all. So I
Holding
had
fist
to
or whatever.
add the nice slap sound from over her shoulder to really sell it. She was just so afraid. She didn't want to ruin the beautiful face that Anthony has, but so sound effects,
And I
good
think
cutting.
a lot of it was like just the little jerky.
Yeah,
thing
your
that I did.
reaction.
Yeah, that was.
It's-
yeah, 'cause I
That's what
don't
sells
remember
the
that.
hit,
I
really.
don't remember it. Oh my goodness.
That's what
I
really
remember
sells
filming that scene. I remember there was some light slapping and reacting. But it was like, what's the term? Open palm or
Stage slap.
it. Yes, it's
stage slap?
where it's a loose hand and it's louder than a
Yeah,
stiff
you
hand.
do not have an erect hand. You have a flaccid hand.
And it sounds louder and worse, but it hurts a lot less. And so we did that kind of slap a few times. And then there's like the no contact slap, where it's like you kind of just go under their chin and maybe like hit your chest at the same time. But I added the slap sound and it sliced it in just right. And again, Anthony really sold the hit with the hair flying in his face.
I really didn't remember getting slapped. I was like, oh.
That was the day that you were awake for a long time, and
That's
you were
right, yeah.
running on like 45 minutes sleep.
Yeah, I didn't sleep the night before the second day that we shot, so that whole time I was like out of it. And I remember that's when we had to redo like the fight scene and the crying scene, and then we had to go back to the apartment and do the whole ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just
That's
like,
a long day.
I was
That
like
was a very long day.
asking for your Red Bull or something. Like I was like, Cody,
Oh.
have Red Bull.
I gave you my Red
Yeah,
Bull.
like Krystle's Red Bull.
Yeah, we had probably like a 12-pack of Red Bulls flying through that apartment that night. that was the last day of shooting, and we wrapped at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to be up for work 3 hours later, something like that. I went to work the next day with a big ass smile on my face though. My boss thought I was on drugs. I didn't sleep, but I wasn't on drugs. I finished a movie. Was it a movie about drugs? Yeah. Can't hide that from you.
Continued theme in all your future projects?
No, I would like to state now publicly that we're moving away from drugs. I just thought this would be good for our first project. Yes, Nick.
So while we're on this subject, like, what can we expect next?
Ooh, That is a very good question.
You said we're moving away from. Where are we moving to?
Well, I've mentioned it to a few people, and Anthony and I are talking about collaborating on a script about the Calder killing fields in League City, Texas, where the bodies of 30 women have been found over the course of several years. And it's very, 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 very much in early development. We're just talking premises right now. We're trying to come up with a story that would be respectful of the women that lost their lives out there, and a very good character-driven story. I want to say for Watson Visions, that's our goal, is to bring characters back to movies and just make people care about the characters more. I mean, anybody can stand in front of a green screen and go anorexic or do 1,000 sit-ups or whatever. We want to have characters on camera that people relate to and care about. And so, that being said, our next goal is to do a horror drama on the Texas killing fields. Yes?
Where can I sign up?
Where can you sign up? What do you want to be?
Anything in it, you know that.
You want to be the killer?
I mean, I played the
Too
asshole
young.
in the first one, so I guess I play the killer in the next one.
Well, you know, I always love the more help, the merrier. So whenever we actually get a screenplay going, I'll keep you in mind. Next question. I have a question, Anthony.
Yes, Cody.
How did that powdered sugar taste really?
It tasted like powdered sugar after it burned the shit out of my nostrils. So, it tasted like powdered sugar.
So the first time Anthony snorted powdered sugar in front of me, like I said, was we did a promotional trailer for Introverted Mind. We were trying to raise funds for it. It was definitely a passion project, and so I was trying to be a good director, and I said, you know, I'll snort it first. I've had worse things up my nose, and I'll make sure it's safe for you and everything. And we didn't have any issues with that one, but it was a very small amount. But unfortunately, on the set of Tethered, Anthony had forgotten the standards in which you snort powdered sugar. But it's also kind of my fault, because I told him to do coke like I used to do coke, where you just jab the straw in the bag and just go to town. And that fucking hurts with powdered sugar. I honestly did feel awful, and I kept asking Anthony if I could get him water and stuff. Like, I was just like, oh man, why did I do this?
But he was a trooper. He's like, nah, I'm good. Let's
I
just
think
keep
I
going.
saw it in the film, but like when I do it, I like exhale and you can see like a puff of.
I'm sorry, that's
It was such a fast frame that if you didn't know about it, you wouldn't see it.
That's all I noticed, dude.
That's because you haven't done it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it looked cool.
It kind of makes me giggle a little bit.
Alright.
Yes, Ben.
Is there any funny bloopers that took place?
That's a question for you. You saw all the footage.
There was parts where it's like, we did even consider making the blooper reel, but since this is a very like dramatic movie, it would take away with bloopers. But yes, there were a lot of like takes where people mess up their lines. I know that Jared had to do different versions of a line, and we got carried away or just laughing so hard with this.
And then none of that was in the movie.
None of it was in the movie because it didn't fit the tone of the movie. But yes, there are like random bloopers.
And there's stuff between me and Cody because we would like kind of improvise stuff a little bit, and then there's like some takes where we just kept blowing it, and like I think there's one where I just start laughing, right?
Yeah, there is. There's one of my favorite lines actually. Jared and Anthony and Kristen came up with on the spots when they're playing full pool, and the character Jared says, you know, for a lesbian, you sure suck dick at this game, and she's like, well, I don't do balls. Like they came up with that line on their own.
Yeah, that was not my creative genius.
They ad-libbed that.
I think I asked her first. I was like, hey, Kristen, is it okay if I say this? And she was cool with it. So.
Yeah, so they played off of each other really nice. They had a lot of great back and forth with each other. So answer, yes, bloopers. I don't know if they're that hilarious. I mean, but some of them are kind of funny, I guess.
will it be coming out on DVD or Blu-ray? Are you looking into that?
Like I said, I was considering self-distribution, but given how well the projects come together, and because I only know so many people, I figure probably the best thing, not only for myself, but for the actors and actresses and the crew that participated in the movie, I figure it would be doing them a disservice by just self-distributing. So I want to send it off to film festivals, so that way these talented people can have their names out there as well. And who knows, we'll see what happens. Anthony is very familiar with film festivals, so he's going to be helping me with that over the next few months, getting it into film festivals, or submitting it rather. And I'm really excited. I've never submitted a film to a festival before. Whenever I was younger, I thought, that was like the first big thing you do. And I guess it kind of still is. I just didn't realize that, or re-realize that until recently. So,
Ever a DVD?
yeah, if nobody wants to distribute our film after it's gone through the festivals, then I will go back and we will make a DVD Blu-ray, but it will not be for probably several months, because film festivals are in their early bird timelines for submissions right now. So we could submit the film now, but the festival won't be until like summer or fall of 2022. So it'll be some time between now and a physical release. Any other questions?
I have a question for you, Cody.
Yes, Anthony.
How does it feel having a premiere for one of your films?
Dude, holy shit, I've gone through a spectrum of emotions tonight. I might be an actor too by now. So I gotta say, when we first arrived here, I was kind of like, oh, it's gonna be nothing. Then I saw the poster out next to the double doors, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, Katie did that, right?
Katie did the poster.
Woo!
Alright. Yes, Nana?
I have, questions from people from work. They wanna know how you were able to get it to be filmed, shown here at the theater.
So, I reached out to Star Cinema Grill. I noticed that on their website they have where you can rent out a theater and show whatever movies are playing right now. And since I don't like a lot of those movies, I was like, can I play my own movie? They said, well, yeah, as long as you got a flash drive. So, okay, cool. So, I don't know if Joy's around here right now, but there's a lady here, Joy. She's been wonderful. She's been communicating with me for the last month and a half or so, planning this to make this night happen. And I gotta say, I'm overwhelmed, honestly, with how it turned out. I mean, giant screen, a big theater, and having the poster outside, like, it's just been a surreal experience for me. Like, I never thought I'd see this day. And I told my other Nana on my mom's side, I told my other Nana, I said, one day I'm gonna have a movie up on the big screen, and she's always been a big supporter of me. So I'm glad to have her here tonight to see that dream come true. That's like a bucket list thing for me. Hi, Nana. Did I do okay?
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I'll try to do a more lighthearted one next time.
Like I said, follow your dreams, David.
I have, and I've been continuing to do so, and it's thanks to everybody in this room, really. I mean, thank you all.
Yes,
I mean,
thank you guys.
all of you.
Woo!
Y'all are awesome.
One can only dream to have this many people support them, so Cody's very, very lucky. Very, very lucky.
I am lucky. I mean, I've hosted events in the past, and sometimes they're all right, and sometimes they're duds. But this is the biggest turnout for an event ever, and I couldn't be happier that it's with all of you too, because I mean, everybody in here that knows me knows that this is my dream, and so to be able to finally show y'all something on the big screen has just been a wonderful experience. I mean, when I go home tonight, I'm probably just gonna be like, I'll probably feel the same way as I did when I got married. I'll be like, that just happened.
And your dad and your uncle are very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Nana. I hope they are.
I know they are.
Yes, Jason.
I'll give you something I decided to do for memory for you, actually.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh,
You
that
can
is.
keep that in your room along your poster.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm coming up there to give you a.
Show it. We wanna see it.
What is it, Cody?
It's a trophy.
Thank you. And you can keep it right next to the poster.
I feel like Bender from the Breakfast Club.
Award-winning writer and director Cody Watson.
And yes, this will go right next to the canvas tethered poster that I have in my man cave.
I'm gonna start a collection now.
That's it. Do we have any more questions in the house? Going once.
You could always talk to us individually if you hate,
Yeah, if you don't want to be on the spot.
public speaking like I do. I'm really good at faking it. Feel free to come to any of us individually.
Got something, Nick?
Oh no, I was just saying.
Thumbs up. Oh yeah, no, I'm with you too, buddy.
You feel seen. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Tethered. Woo!